it would appear that eyes are back on the ban list. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more on us. We got to start off over here with Cached Hero. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The only reason why I'm making this topic today is post VYCS. I've seen a lot of people kind of crossing their hands going, see, I told you Cached Hero should have been banned a long time ago. It's actually absurd that Konami allowed these cards to stick around. All right, I'm telling you, Cached Hero's going away next list. This is ridiculous. All right, so here's my take on this. I don't necessarily think that the Cached Hero cards are, in their current rendition, all that bad. All right, it was a Rise Heart in the vacuum effect of being able to spot removal any potential card your opponent had. A walking, talking Macrocosmo, that those cards were incredibly broken for the game. All right, like let's call it what it is. Like it is huge out here. Now, with that being said, though, everybody, what is making the Cached Hero stuff look so appetizing right now? Well, it's because Fenrir and Unicorn have both very strong effects. Unicorn being able to rip things from your opponent's extra deck. So in a format where, you might be playing certain one-ofs in your extra deck, Unicorn can look into your opponent's extra deck, take away one of your opponent's key pieces that they need for Fiendsmith combo. For example, what if I look into your extra deck and I rip away your Requiem? Well, now you're in a shit position because now you've just lost access to your Fiendsmith combo. That's why Unicorn is so broken. Fenrir, on the other hand, gives you access to spot removal on the field. Getting the ability to banish any potential threat face down is really, really, really good. All right, and also to top things off out here, the searchability that both of these monsters give you is good. Their field spell gives you a generic buff of power, which is also really, really solid. Nobody really talks about that. Most of the eyes look at Ray Sloth as, oh boy, it's just a search. But no, it does give attack point boost. And that can be an annoying problem to deal with for certain decks. Or, it allows them to kind of OTK a little bit faster in regards to tech ability. But the real underwhelming card that we see that this deck gets to abuse has been Birth. I think Birth is one of the stupidest cards printed because Birth, not the free tribute summon extender play is not bad. The problem is literally getting a banish 3 effectively every single turn from your opponent's graveyard, and it forces them face down. I think Birth in combination to Fenrir and Unicorn is what is giving this deck some of those real extra pushes, allowing it to be the more consistent creature that it is right now. I would not be surprised on the next ban list for Konami to want to go after Fenrir and Unicorn because they kind of fell out of play for a little while. Once things kind of start to fall out of play a little bit, Konami, I feel like, doesn't really bat an eye at them too much, except for if your name is branded. But we kind of had a situation here where these cards just smash down the front door. They are back in full swing, and that's a little bit of an annoying problem. I don't really think Konami is going to do anything about these because I think Konami looks at Cached Hero Fenrir as an incredibly broken going second card. Konami, at least the TCG, they want the game. You build your board going first. That's why they've been weakening first for as long as they have. Konami TCG wants going second to be viable. That's why you'll see, typically in a lot of these lists, I think the bare minimum you'll see on Fenrir's is usually 2, because one Fenrir can search into the other. If they want to extend out the package, it's usually 1 Unicorn, 1 Fenrir, 1 Birth, 1 Ray Sloth is the 4 of package. And then you'll see 2 Unicorn, possibly 2 Fenrir, or an interchangeability of those. 1 Birth, and then potentially 2 to 3 Ray Sloth, depending on how much higher you want to ramp this package up in terms of what it's got going for it. I don't know why now this is returned back in the spotlight. I think that we had a major format shift that a lot of people didn't necessarily expect to see. But I think for now, yes, I think it's on the table. for the discussion of putting Fenrir to 1. I don't necessarily think we need to ban it, but 1 Fenrir, 1 Unicorn, 1 Birth, 1 Raceloth that decks could play with is not necessarily the end of the world. Now let's talk about Fiendsmith out here. So if you were recently paying attention to the YCS, you noticed, Fiendsmith had an incredibly large uptick of potential. And 1-card engines are an incredibly broken thing in this game. Absolutely they are. Alright, when you can see a deck go, oh hey, I can play, what is this, 20 potential hand traps. Maybe it was like 23. So you're telling me I can stick 23 hand traps into a deck right now. And I can roll on in. And all I need is my 1-card engine to resolve, which is going to be the Fiendsmith stuff. Alright, and as long as I can go through a Desiree, I can set up this, 2-3 negates that you're getting off of this card. So you're going to put your opponent into this position, they're going to go, holy crap, man. Like, the Fiendsmith stuff, once again, was in the exact same category as Cached Hero. It went to sleep. Nobody batted an eye at it. Everybody was like, hey, format's kind of power creeping itself. We don't need to worry about these cards anymore. Yes. Well, unfortunately, the innovators innovated, and we are back in a situation right now where the possibility of needing to clean up the Fiendsmith stuff now is back on the table. I don't know why, but you gotta remember, last OCG ban list, they took, what was it? Engraver and Lacrima, and they both put them to 1? Sure. Does the TCG need to follow suit and put Engraver to 1 as well? I don't know. I really don't know. Should you be allowed to play multiples of this engine? I'm kind of indifferent on this right now. Honestly. While the Fiendsmith stuff putting Desiree on the field is broken, we can make the argument right now that Lacrima, I do think, was more of a problem than anything. Lacrima being able to burn for that 1200 damage was an annoyance. It was one of the dumbest things that we had to deal with in this game. But the TCG knows that Supreme Darkness has another Fiendsmith card on the inside. Alright, the TCG is going to look at that and they're going to go, hey, this new Fiendsmith card is an incredibly good card. It pushes the Fiendsmith package a little bit more. I do not think that the TCG is going to approach any sort of wanting to touch the Fiendsmith package anytime soon. You've also got to remember, literally in a week and a half, you are going to have the next power creep hitting the meta. We have Malice, and we are going to have Detonator and Friends, Rizal, hitting the ground running out here. I think the minute that you have Rizal entering into the room, I think the need to check Fiendsmith kind of goes away. And I do mean that. Like, Desiree is an incredibly good card, but we're kind of in one of those situations right now that it can still be killed by battle. And then, yeah, you can spot removal something, sure. But 20 plus hand traps is the thing that made this deck do its thing. Yes, 1-card engine decks are an annoyance for people to have to deal with, but I don't really currently think that this is a problem all that much. I have more of an argument to put Fenrir to 1 finally than I can to put Engraver to 1 with the amount of power creep that's coming. But I'm trying to be optimistic because I don't want to go into a format with a new ban list coming up here. I don't want to crater all these older decks because we already know that the ceiling has been risen to this point. If you're knocking out the pedestal below it, you're taking away the competition for people to play these decks. Alright, I understand that people don't want to see Snake Eyes and things like that stick around out here, sure. But those are the decks that can challenge this meta, and if you're knocking that out, well, you're just forcing people to spend more money on the upcoming set. So, hard pass on wanting to hit Fiendsmith at the moment. I do think the discussion for both of these decks is warranted to be looked at for their potential return back to the meta at any point. Sure, I'll humor that. But I think they are just very good control decks and consistency enablers that these two decks slash packages give. That's actually insane. So that's why you stick them together and get the most results, right? So what do you guys think? Do we need to hit Cached Hero or Fiendsmith in the future? Leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Peace out.
Patrons!
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.